Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to China Insights. I'm your host, Ben Hedges, and on the panel today we have David Zhang from China Insider with David Zhang. Welcome, David.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Thanks for having me.
We also have a lovely Zheng Fei from Zheng Guandian. If you speak Chinese, you can check out her channel.
Yeah, Zheng Guandian, or Real Perspectives. Hello, everyone. Good to be here again.
And we also have Ali Wang, and her channel on YouTube is Ali Wang, Ali from China.
Yep, that's my channel name, Ali from China.
Welcome.
Welcome, guys. So do check out all their channels after you've watched the video. But today we have some pretty interesting topics, actually, because we're going to be talking about the Chinese entertainment industry. And kind of what spurred us to talk about this is the case of Zhao Lusi, who is the lady we can see on screen behind us. She is a famous Chinese actress who has had some real problems recently with photos of her in a wheelchair, ridiculously overworked, having all sorts of other issues, got her fans very, very worried about her. And actually on January 1st, she came out with a long social media post detailing basically exactly what happened. So David, why don't you give us a little bit of a rundown of this story?
So basically what happened was she had been working, she got very popular during the pandemic, like 2020, 2021. But before that, she wasn't really so known that she had a lot of problems that she exposed with her company, her management company, where she was mentally and physically abused. The story goes back to 2019. But she suffered from some sort of a neurological / nervous system disease. That's what landed her in the wheelchair. And it has something to do with unable to speak, like she's not able to speak. I think right now she's having a recovery, a successful one. Her fans are very worried, at least that's what the people in my comments are saying. They're very worried, I think they're her fans. But yeah, so she's like one of the most popular actors right now, like the next upcoming.
And this was because she was overworked?
Wow.
Or a range of
part of the
different things.
reason overworked.
I'm also overworked. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, me too.
No, I think it's a little more than that, right? Like because they're trying to spell the psychological torture that she experienced.
I think it's more mental than physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's always like in a lot of dramas and TV shows, variety shows. But in her long statement, she says how she was always feeling like she's not good enough. And then ever since she became popular, she was criticized as the fattest actress out there.
Yeah.
Because Chinese industry standard for female celebrities are very, very strict. I think that's the same across Asia in general. And she has a rounder, chubbier face, and so she was criticized a lot.
So there's like no every size and shape is beautiful kind of thing?
Oh, like absolutely no. Absolutely.
But don't they need like chubbier characters for some roles?
There are, but they're so rare.
Really?
Like I think there's like maybe one actress I know that's chubby. Oh, the one that did a really successful diet.
Yeah, the boxing movie I saw.
Yes, that one.
It's called You Only Live Once, and she actually went through a whole diet journey as part of the filming process. So she filmed the part where she was still like chubby, and then paused it, continued her diet until she was down. I don't know how many pounds she lost, but she was like crazy. It was a crazy transformation. Then she filmed the second part, and then put that into a movie. That was
but see, before that movie, she was never able to. I guess she was always regarded as a comedian because of her body and image. So she can never be like, lead role playing anything. So yeah, it's very rare. The whole industry is like, if you are, like there's a lot of like, you have to use a paper and to
this was a craze
measure
on the internet.
your waist size and stuff.
Yeah. A craze on the internet a while back. If your waist goes outside of the A4 paper,
you're too fat.
You're too fat, which is pretty ridiculous because an A4 is pretty small.
Right.
Yeah,
it's skinnier than a letter.
Yeah, that's a typical beauty standard in China.
You have to be like very youthful looking to the point of you're like acting all like cutesy and stuff, like underage. That's the craze.
She also reported being abused, though, didn't she? And then I think one of her friends made a post about it as well and told this whole story that she was like pulled into a bathroom and then she was shouted at for 2 hours.
2 a.m. in the morning too.
And stuff.
Yeah. Most of the comments, like, I think it happened in 2019. One of her managers, imagine just being dragged into a bathroom and berated for 2 hours. And I think the manager like criticized her weight definitely, and also call her useless.
Says why can't you get like
Yeah,
the main
well,
role, the lead
yes,
role.
the leading actress. Why can't you make that?
Okay.
Yeah,
But
so
then
it's quite brutal.
But that's really crazy because like 2 years later, she was everywhere. I'm sure everybody, might be the first time hearing about this name, but in China, she's very popular. Because I think that the thing is, for a lot of, like, because so the way I understand the Chinese entertainment is there's always like a breakout female actress that kind of like, so during my time when I was like 10 or something, it was a girl named Yang Mi. She was very famous. And
She's still famous.
She's still very famous, right?
yeah.
But then like it's like every 5 or so years there's like a new it girl,
Yes.
right? That comes
Young
out and kind of
girl,
like is
kind of.
everywhere. She was that for that period. But then I wonder what's going to happen to her next because, from my understanding, is like there's a lot of power at play too, right? If you trigger or you offend one part of that, do you still have a survival like in that industry? Like, can you still survive in that industry, or are you going to get blacklisted? That's what I'm wondering.
Well, the thing is, I think she has a huge fan base. I think that helps because back then, maybe like 10 years ago, it's very dependent on the producers and whoever has money and power to keep you in the limelight. But nowadays, the fan base are everything. Like these celebrities, they're called 流量明星 in Chinese.
Like traffic or views.
Right, yeah, people who have lots of traffic. So it doesn't matter if they can do their job well, even like whether they can act, whether they can sing, as long as they have a huge fan base, they can bring money in. So I feel like it doesn't matter if she is with one company or not. A lot of these 流量明星, they established their own studio and then they became their own boss. And because they have a huge fan base that can just buy whatever they ask them to buy.
So it sounds like with the whole companies that these people sign to, that it's way more like they take a lot more rigid management of their actors than in the US, because Hollywood actors, they have an agent, but they are still kind of free. They're not like signed to a company that manages them really closely. They're sort of free agents. So is that the case in China?
A lot of exploitations, I think.
Yeah. But from what I understand is though, if you're young, like especially you're just getting started, the industry is very abusive to you. And like Korea is also like this too, right? Because if you're trying to be an idol actor or idol singer, you also experience that too. Whereas I think talent, because the thing about China is that like talent is something that doesn't necessarily have to come from your natural abilities. It can be cultivated. Okay. You can be packaged into a talented actor or singer. Whereas I think a lot of breakthrough stars in Hollywood, like talent is a front driving force of their breakthrough or their fame. But in China, a lot of the cases you can really get through. Like if you know the right people or somebody wants to push you in that direction, they'll get you through. I'm not saying that like Hollywood, everybody in Hollywood is extremely talented, but in a lot of cases, like the manufacturing aspect is huge in China.
Okay, and is that the same in Korea then as well? Because you mentioned Korea.
I think it's more so in Korea. Korea's entertainment industry is a lot more organized and established than China. They started like maybe 2 decades before China, and they have a whole system, and everyone who wants to be a celebrity will have to go into one of the 3 big companies in Korea and start as a trainee.
There's only 3 companies to be a celebrity?
3 big ones.
To be a singer or an actress?
There are many other smaller ones, but if you want to make it big, it has to be one of the 3.
Well, and those do singing, those do music and television, or?
Yes.
Really?
They basically manage all talents, most of the mainstream talents on the market.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of anybody like today that's young in Korea that didn't come from
a trainee background.
Or like a K-pop kind of background. Like they do training for singing and act at the same time. Yeah, like very rare. Because in the old days, I think it's more like you don't have to. It doesn't have to be just your looks. Let's just put it that way. So, but it's pretty abusive there too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they sign really long contracts.
Yes.
Like 10, 12, sometimes
8 to
17,
10
18
years contract.
do you know
18 years
Yeah.
contract?
Yeah, basically they bought out your youth, and then you're with this company, and you don't have. I would say because the Korean industry is more exposed than China. There were more documentaries made on them, and because there's a bigger following worldwide, so more people pay attention on how the industry works. So we do get more inside information on how Korean industry works.
I think that's why this case with Jalous is so explosive.
Right.
Because you rarely hear this type, because China also covers this up, right?
Yes.
They don't,
Yes.
like in Korea, sure, you hear the abusiveness, but I rarely hear one in China, but it happens a lot. If you know China, you'll understand that these cases happen. Like the cases with like Me Too, the Me Too movement in China, it's pretty rampant, but nobody talks about them because it's not like they can hide it pretty well. That's what I think.
Yeah, because of the government, all the information censored. So that might be one of the reasons. And also there's one big difference compared to K celebrities and Chinese celebrities is that this kind of exploitation for Korean celebrities, we see lots of scandals are coming from the drug abuse. But for Chinese celebrities, they're like cases like Jalous, it's not that rare. It's common, but a fundamental issue, like causing this kind of phenomenon, is that in Korea the competitiveness is more severe, compared to China. So
that's what I was saying. Because like once you make it to a certain level in China, wow. So I did a video on this. There was two girls that I talked about. One was Fan Bingbing. She was in not Fantastic Four, X-Men.
Yeah.
Days of the Future Past. She was one of the vampire. I can't remember, but she's like a really famous Chinese actress.
Wasn't she in Transformers as well, or is that the other Bing Bing?
That's Li Bingbing.
Bingbing,
Yeah, two Bingbings, two different Bingbings. Yeah. And then the other girl is Zhao Wei, who is very well known for her role as Return of the Pearl Princess of Return. Anyways, so they're both super famous, and they're like untouchable in terms of popularity, but then they're still both like blacklisted right now for I think similar reasons, tax evasion, right? That's how they get the girls. So I'm like thinking about what's going to happen to her, because so I'm already reading some articles online about Jalous. Because if she touched I'm sure she has some political backings from somebody, because that's just,
for sure,
you need protection.
If you want to make it.
Yeah, but I'm like, is it big enough to, because what if her issue becomes such a big scandal that everybody's talking about it, causes instability for the regime, and then what's going to happen next is just censorship, and could she be blacklisted? That's what I'm wondering. But from the point right now, it doesn't seem like it, but you never know.
There was like a CCP announcement maybe a few years ago when the whole fan base thing became so huge. Like it hit China because it was such a common phenomenon in Korea for celebrities to have a huge fan base, and they even give their fan base names and stuff. But in China, it's more like recent. And then once that thing started become like a thing in China, the CCP announced that they want to limit the fan base power.
Control the influence.
They definitely don't want any single person to have more power and to move a large amount of crowd to do anything. So these celebrities are basically, when they get so big and so powerful, they're really putting a threat to the CCP, and because they're
like a double-edged sword, right? They could be really helpful to the regime if they say the right things.
Yes.
But because they have so many fans, they could have the opposite if they say something wrong. So they're trying to control them, right?
Yes, and then that's why they have to control the celebrities mentally. Like they all have to do what the CCP tells them to do ultimately.
My favorite thing to watch is every time. So let's say the thing with Hong Kong, right? 2019, 2020. All of the Chinese celebrities had to post on their Weibo account. They're like, I support the Hong Kong police.
Yes, exactly.
These protesters are bad, blah, blah, blah. Like the exact same message, copy pasted in every single one of them. And so whoever didn't do it, it was like a declaration, like a online struggle session. Like if you were literally, people were being gaslighted into saying this because they're like, oh my God, my favorite star is saying that. It must mean that the situation is so, right? So they use that for political influence as well. It's so crazy. And they also do that with like Taiwan. They're like, even there was a
case a while back, wasn't there, with like a K-pop singer. She was in a band and she was like a dual citizen, Taiwan and Korea. And they
Well, she wasn't. You're talking about
in Twice.
in Twice, right?
周子瑜.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she wasn't she.
She's not a dual citizen, but she's
half
Taiwanese.
Yeah, she's half.
Like she's
Taiwanese.
100% Taiwanese.
Oh, she's 100%.
Yeah, she's like she's a
Taiwanese, but she's in a K-pop
Yes,
band.
yes.
And they had their flags in a music video for each of them, right? And one of them was everyone else was Korea, and she had Korea and Taiwan there. I think it was, right?
I don't remember. I've seen her apology video.
Yes, so I'm pretty sure it was because she had. It was like a scene where they like wake up from a bed or something, and there was two flags there, and it was Korea and Taiwan, and you know they just sort of accidentally put it out, and everyone in China saw it, or actually maybe they didn't see it, but the CCP saw it, and then yeah, she had to come out with this apology video where she looked like she's being held hostage.
Yeah, like a TV confession.
And she's like
and she was
bowing
reading like this.
Yeah.
More recently, though, with Taiwan, like if you want to work in China, if you're Taiwanese, a celebrity, you have to declare your like allegiance. Otherwise, you won't be allowed to get gigs there.
Get into the
Yeah,
market.
you can't say if you're Taiwanese, you can't say I am from Taiwan. You have to say I'm from Taiwan, China. Hong Kong too.
Hong Kong.
You have to say I'm from Hong Kong, China. Well, in Chinese it's 中国台湾,
Yeah.
中国香港.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if the people like because the official Taiwanese government, right, when they were like, I think it was President Lai, not President Tsai at this point now. Yeah, President Lai. So the new president, he was asked about this. He was saying that there's a term for them, not like celebrities, but like artistic workers or something like that they call these celebrities. They're like, yeah, you know, they have a hard time too, like, because maybe they don't actually feel this way, but they have to say it out. Even if they don't, you know, they're still loyal to Taiwan. So I'm just giving them like the benefit of the doubt to say that maybe they don't support this politically, or that's not what they believe in, but to make a little bit of money, because in Taiwan, really, like, you can't make a lot of money, so you have to go to Taiwan. Mainland China. Or, you know, if you're in Korea, right, and you're Chinese, your Chinese market is much bigger. So there's a lot of Korean stars who actually have a bigger following in China. So halfway through their contract, like you mentioned, a lot of them like get into a legal dispute with their Korean management, then they bounce off, go back to China and get like launch their solo career there. So it's almost like you're importing a foreign entity, but like you're actually still Chinese, but because you got famous outside, now you're like extra famous.
Even more valuable, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Famous in Korea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so there also was another case about someone, a celebrity, going out of China and getting in trouble in a certain country. Why don't you tell us about that?
Basically, this C-list celebrity from China was offered a gig in Thailand, where they were supposed to shoot something in Thailand.
So by C-list, he's kind of
Nobody.
done, right?
Yeah, nobody knows who he was.
Oh, he's had a career already and now he's come down, or he just
No,
isn't
he
he was
just-
just nobody
Yeah.
to begin with.
Okay.
His name is like his nickname is Xing Xing, which means star star. And he was in Thailand. Then he got abducted by these like traffickers. They were going to send him to Myanmar. I think in northern Myanmar or Burma, because that's where they keep a lot of the Chinese people there. They got like casinos, like illegal gambling sites and all that. His head was shaved, and he looked just terrified. But in the end, they managed to rescue him, the cooperation between the Chinese government and the Thai government. But it was because his girlfriend did a lot of work behind the scenes, like publicized this case, tried to raise awareness. It got to a point where it's like, you know, what if this happened to one of our A-listers? Like, would you not go rescue them, you know, the Chinese government? So I guess it kind of pressured them. But now the Chinese government is spinning it as if they're the ones who, you know, no matter, they always love to do this, right? They're like, no matter where you are in the world, as long as you got a Chinese passport, we can come and rescue you. We'll save you, right?
Oh, that's like a thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it's a huge propaganda point.
TikToks of people like holding up their passports and then the robbers don't rob them and stuff like that, right?
Ridiculous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, we saved one of our, you know, small-time celebrity. Imagine if it was like
Fan Bingbing.
Fan Bingbing or Charles Su, they're stuck in Africa. We can come and rescue them. That kind of thing. So, so it's a huge propaganda win for the Chinese government. But it also kind of shows, like, in my view, that a lot of people aren't finding work in China, so they have to be outsourced, like they're.
Well, so what was he doing? He was going to find a production crew or something in
So
Thailand to
somebody
shoot.
back our production team told us that he apparently was given this role by a martial arts director in a chat group that they had, just like a regular job
Oh,
post.
so he was offered a job
okay.
basically
Yeah.
in Thailand. Okay.
Is that a scam?
Well, I guess so.
Yeah, probably.
There was another guy who also went there after this guy had disappeared. He was at the Thai airport. I don't know which city, but he was in front of the airport. He was saying that, yeah, I almost got scammed in traffic too, but I managed to like run away. Now I'm going to go back to China and all that. So yeah. But the whole thing with the whole like the Southeast scam of Chinese people, it's happening a lot in northern Myanmar or northern Burma. But it's like not actually the Burmese people doing it. It's Chinese people in Burma doing this. So it's like Chinese people screwing over Chinese people.
Yeah.
It's always like that. So.
Exactly.
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
think
news about that.
For regular people like you and me who are just working in China, most of them can barely make a living every month. So it's easy when they hear, oh, you can make easy money or a lot of money in another country, they could fall for it. But what's interesting is that this guy happens to be a celebrity, an actor, you know. They're working and they even got him. That I think it says something about how the pay for even C-list actors are so low in China, because there was, back then when Zheng Shuang was very popular, there was a unit that came out because of how much she made called Wen Shuang, using her name, and that equals 640 million. That's how much she makes in a year.
Wait, so
renminbi?
RMB, yes.
Okay, so how much is that?
let me. You guys keep talking. Let me look up the number.
David does
about
the
like
math.
100 million.
Is it 100 million US dollars?
Per year. But she was like the #1 hit girl at that time. But that's A-listers, and a lot of them take a huge amount of pay for variety shows or TV shows that they go on. However, if you are not there yet, if you're not the few selected very popular actor and actresses in China, you make about the same as everyone else. Like 3,000 to 6,000 RMB per month, and that's like 1,000, less than 1,000 USD.
500 to
per
1,000.
month.
Wow. Oh, by the way, it's 87 million for for US dollars.
Yeah, crazy.
For one shuang.
For one
shuang.
shuang.
Yes.
One shuang.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever make one shuang in my lifetime, but wait, she was popular in what, early 2000s or late
2010s. 2010s.
I've never heard
Because what happened is shortly after actually it was her ex-husband that exposed her how much she made, and that's what because when you're popular, like your company will try to cover up all these bad news about you.
Yeah.
But then because she was in a huge scandal that involves surrogate.
surrogate, like pregnancy? Surrogacy.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Right, and then her ex-husband who was in on it with her.
What
I
was
think.
the scandal?
Well, she and her husband paid someone else to have their baby, but then they abandoned the baby.
They abandoned their baby.
Yeah, after paying. So anyway, it was very irresponsible. So I think the husband was trying to, drive the hatred to her.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, why did they abandon their baby?
They changed their mind.
Well, you know what, Ben? When you're making one shrung every year. No, that's really bad. Sorry.
I think they're.
I mean, if they make one shuang a year, they could afford a nanny, right? I mean, for the baby.
Well,
Maybe because of their relationship.
But the thing is, they got married in secret, right? Because in China, if you want to have a large fan base, you have to play
pretend
your
you're single?
lover, right?
Yeah.
You cannot have
So all their
boyfriend
male
or
fans, they have
girlfriend.
to
You cannot be married.
think
You
that they have
cannot
a
have
chance.
children. And she did all of that. So she has to, I guess, in a way, if she wants to keep her popularity, she has to keep the child hidden.
That's pretty ridiculous that you have to do all that pretending, though. Because,
Yes.
I mean, surely people must know it's all fake. Because who just puts their life on hold for
Well-
that, right? Like, if you have a lot of money and you're all in these movies and everything, you're going to want to enjoy your life, right? You're going to want to have a husband or wife and have kids and, like, enjoy your life with them, right? And, I mean, what are you going to use all those shuangs for, right? Like you're going to want to buy, like, cool stuff for your family to go on vacation together with your kids and all that stuff. So
That's what I found was interesting comparing Hollywood to Asian entertainment.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
in Hollywood, it's like you can get married,
it's very rare, that people do that in Hollywood now. I think there's maybe have been some cases of that, but it's really not a common thing at all.
What do you think of that? It's quite interesting, because that's not that's quite common in China.
It is, isn't it?
For celebrities, yes, they just hide pretend to be single all the time.
Well, I mean, we're going to talk about this, but I'll just briefly mention a big reason for me is a lot of the celebrities are also like what's the proper word? Like respectively speaking, like they've been ruined because like a lot of them, in order to attain fame, they had to like sleep with the producers, directors, like the CCP officials. So like a lot of that is part of the cover up too. So I don't know if we're going to talk about that.
Well, I think that's possible in the West. That kind of stuff goes on as well. But I think in China, there's a lot of corruption in China caused by the CCP. So why don't we move into kind of talking about that?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to add another reason.
Sure.
I think for me, because maybe that attitude comes from the fans. Like lots of female fans towards a male celebrity, they might call him as a husband in their life.
Right.
They will call him.
Regard him as
a husband.
yes, exactly. That's interesting, right? And also weird.
It's a weird, yeah.
Well, there were people wearing like wedding dresses to TF Boys concerts.
Yeah, it's quite common in China though.
It's a spiritual message in their mind. It's a spiritual marriage. Sorry, spiritual marriage.
Well, they could just look for a husband who kind of has a similar type to their favorite celebrity, right? No,
that's a whole nother topic. We should talk about China's marriage relationship.
Yeah.
But
interesting.
I just the thing. So, if you have time, you should really dig into one of like the. It doesn't have to be Chinese. It should just be like Korean or Japanese or Chinese, like the fan base for one of the celebrities. Because there's a guy named Chris Wu. He's in jail now. He's a Canadian rapper / he was in Korea when he started as a member of EXO. Then he went to China to develop his like Chinese fan base. And then what year was it? 2021 or 2020? He got charged for sexual assault, I believe, underage girl.
Okay.
And then so he's been arrested. But then there are still girls like I see on Twitter and all over other social media saying that it's like, I wish I can spend the rest of my life with him in jail or that kind of thing. So
Still.
like the crazy level is
Was it
there.
real though, or was it like a honey trap? Like he was.
No. Like
Oh,
it's
he
a
was
real.
doing
It's a real.
He was really
something.
doing
It was really
Yeah.
bad.
And I remember the girl actually is one of his fans, is it?
Oh, used to be, right.
Used to be his
Right.
fan.
And then she was like an online celebrity herself. Like she does TikTok
okay.
or something.
Okay.
That's why when she came out, it had a huge impact because actually before she exposed this, several years before that, other girls were talking about it, but no one paid any attention. But because she was a celebrity herself, that called attention. And because of she did that, she did this like started a whole Me Too movement. So other girls, like 10 other girls or something, joined her and like going up against Chris Wu.
Well, let's move on to talking about the effect that the CCP has on the entertainment industry in China. We've kind of touched on it, but